Hi, everyone. It's Laura here today for Lawyering Outside the Lines. Um, Today, we're going to talk about a couple of things related to a new exciting offer that we have coming out at the end of October for our fellow attorneys and colleagues. First, I want to start off with talking about why do I practice in a virtual law firm? Some of you, if you've heard us talk before on Lawyering Outside the Lines, you have heard us maybe talk about our whys a little bit. So I just want to kind of focus specifically on the virtual law firm part and why that works best for me and why I think it works best for the clients. And then we'll get into our exciting news about our new course launch. So why do I practice at a virtual law firm? I, like a lot of people, have had, kind of different careers in my life. I did go to law school straight out of high school, or sorry, that would be impressive, straight out of college. And so I did that, all the way through school thing, graduated and passed the bar at the age of 24 and started practicing law. And I did that for a short period of time, I'll say that, and worked for Westlaw for quite a while, and then decided to move back to Arkansas and start a domestic violence law firm that focused on family law issues. And, I'm just really fortunate that my partner, who created this law firm almost 6 years ago now, decided that we met and she decided she liked me. And so I got to join her. But why does this fit for me? Just various reasons. I think that, some people like to be in an office environment. I definitely don't. It's not something that I'm used to in my career, in my life. And it's, for me, it just is very convenient. I love to travel. I move around a lot. I've lived in a lot of different states in my life, and I prefer to work at nights instead of in the mornings and different things like that. And so it's more conducive to my lifestyle. Not that you can't draft a document anywhere if you're a traditional attorney with a brick and mortar, but there's a big difference on utilizing software and technology to practice law and to work in that virtual law firm world versus doing it the traditional way, especially with just a brick and mortar, kind of system in place. So why does it work better for me? We use technology for not just the idea of, the virtual world. You've heard us talk about client portals and things like that. It cuts down my communication drag of energy sometimes with clients. I know some clients will be watching this and I apologize, but sometimes it's hard to talk for a really long time about your divorce, but that's just the reality of it. It makes that streamlined process easier. It also means that I respond to everything that clients ask me because they're asking me in one single place. I'm not getting phone calls. I'm not getting emails. We all know that attorneys are busy and we have a lot of balls in the air at all times. So for me to have everything kind of in one place to talk to the client, it's super helpful. But drafting documents is sometimes, it's for most people, I think it's maybe not their favorite thing unless you just really like drafting like appellate briefs or whatever it might be. So with that idea in mind, we get to use technology because we're in a virtual space completely and utterly. Then you get to use technology to do certain things like drafting those repetitive documents like complaints or summons or things like that don't really require a legal brain to do certain things like fill in addresses and phone numbers and marriage dates, divorce dates, birth dates, whatever it might be. It's nice to have that it's kind of like a check on me. So I'm not accidentally typing in the wrong thing. It's all kind of automated in our systems so that a lot of that mundane, trivial thing, information that's in, for example, the summons or something like that, it gets filled in automatically because we built that technology and merged it together so that it all works in a great way. That cuts down on the time that I spend doing tasks that I didn't pay for my education, with my education. You spend 3 years in law schools, 4 or more for some people, depending on if you're a part-time student or whatever it might be. But I definitely didn't go to law school to just type and to write things just, basically copy and paste kinds of things. So I get to do what I want to do, which is actually draft the parts that are imperative to have in certain documents so that the judges know exactly what's going on and all of that fun information. So there are all sorts of other reasons that working in a virtual law firm is beneficial for me. A lot of them are personal, because I mentioned before, I like to travel, I move around a lot, that kind of thing, but I also have an autoimmune disease and my energy levels sometimes can be low. And so I get to work from home because my entire law firm is online. It's not like working remotely, it's working with your entire law firm online. So the benefits of that are just great and huge. And that kind of leads me into my next topic, which is Brooke Moore and I, my partner and I, have a course that's launching at the end of October 26th to be exact. It is a 5-week course on how to build a virtual law firm. This is a 5-week self-guided video content, worksheets, exercises, and helpful workflows, vendor lists, and so much more of the documentation that you get to support the intricate kind of, here's all the, all the ins and outs of starting, marketing, all that kind of fun for a virtual practice. I know that during these times this year, a lot of people have been forced kind of to work remotely or in a more virtual environment. Some people love it, some people don't, but we started from scratch 6 years ago, having to build a virtual law firm. And, we made all sorts of mistakes along the way about different software platforms, paid for way too much stuff and then didn't get anything back. And, it's those kinds of things that we want to impart on our colleagues, because we do think this is a viable way to practice law for a lot of people that maybe are either burned out or don't want to work in a traditional environment, or it's just not conducive for your lifestyle. You have kids, you have, other responsibilities in your life, and you can't just be tied to a desk basically for, a 40-hour work week. It's one of the benefits of being a business owner too, is that you get to kind of decide what you want to do and how your business wants to look. So let's talk a little bit more about the course itself. Like I said, it's a 5-week course. You get different kind of information at the beginning of each week, and then we follow up that week with a live question and answer session with Brooke and I. Those are super beneficial. We've run this in the past, and it's super beneficial for the attendees of the course to have that week to kind of watch the videos, review the materials, do the exercises, and then they can come and ask us specific questions. We can workshop things. It's, you've got, again, Brooke and I have been doing this for, 6 years at this point, almost 6 years. Don't want to get in trouble for saying 6 years when we're a couple months shy of that. But we've been doing this for a long time. And so we have done those things that you have questions about. We know kind of what works, what doesn't. Here's the best practice for this type of thing. Here, this is what didn't work for us. So you're going to have that great information on, from actual practitioners who've been doing this for a long time. What to expect with the course? I'll just kind of list what the different weeks are going to be talking about. Week 1 is going to be an overview of what is a virtual law firm business structure, what are alternative legal service options, and we give you detailed information about our workflow as a virtual law firm, how that looks from start to finish of client representation. And so we're providing you some inside information into our own law firm and how we function. Week 2 is about choosing technology, which is huge. Intake and automation, client portals, scheduling and calendaring software, communications with your client, managing payments, all of that stuff in week 2. You're talking about like the actual stuff that you need to do your job more efficiently and in a better environment in the virtual world. Week 3 is about choosing your remote services. We do limited scope of presentation, and so we do talk about that a little bit in week 3. and how to structure your virtual law firm and the practice areas and offerings that you have, and setting your legal fees. We take into account the fact that we're using technology, that we don't have the rent and all that kind of stuff. So that's a good thing to kind of keep in mind when you're talking about setting your legal fees. Week 4 is about ethics. That's a big question that we get on a regular basis, and security of virtual law firm world. Get very in the weeds with that, and best practices, business continuity planning and disaster relief for events like what we've had this year in 2020, but also natural disasters, that kind of thing. That's a big thing that every law firm should really think about. Week 5 is outsourcing and streamlining your practice. Client relations and marketing. A lot of times we get asked about marketing in a virtual law firm world. So we'll talk about that in depth as well. And then some next steps that we have for offerings, and what you can kind of do with implementing the things that you've learned. So thank you so much for joining me today and listening to a little bit about my story, about why a virtual law firm practice works for me, why it's important for me to work in this environment, and why I think it's beneficial. I didn't even mention why it's beneficial for the client. So maybe Brooke will talk a little bit more about that next week. But clients do love working in the virtual law firm world, no matter what a lot of people think. So it's very beneficial for them in a lot of ways too. So join us next week. Brooke will be here to talk about some more things that are related to our course and the virtual law firm world, and kind of what that means. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 Central, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific. Thanks so much, and you guys have a great day.